we all kind of build up this idea of the perfect couple, don't we? You know, that pair that seems totally untouchable, just gliding along.
Yeah, living life in this perfect spotlight.
Exactly. But what happens when that image starts to, well, crack? Just little. What if the fairy tale isn't quite real?
It's amazing how fast things can shift, isn't it? How just a few subtle changes can get everyone talking, speculating like crazy online.
Totally. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. The apparent quiet unraveling of Justin and Hailey Bieber's relationship. The public speculation isn't just intense, it's like everyone's trying to read between the lines.
And our insights for this, they come straight from a piece called The Silent Unraveling of the Bieber Union. It really digs into these recent kind of dramatic shifts in how they appear publicly.
Yeah, it's less about big announcements and more about, well, what silence and small clues might be saying.
Exactly. It's about the subtext.
So our goal here is to unpack those specific moments, the cryptic clues, the theories floating around based on this source material. We want to get a sense of the tension, what might really be happening, you know, give you a shortcut to being properly clued in.
And what's really interesting is where it all seemed to start. It wasn't some huge blow-up.
No, not at all. It was actually super quiet. Hailey Bieber just on an Instagram Live looking composed, and she says, "Sometimes I feel left out, overlooked." Just that.
Wow. Such simple words.
Right, but our source analysis shows they just like lit a fire across social media. Suddenly everyone's looking straight at Justin. It was like that one small spark, you know?
It really was. And when you put that against the backdrop of their image, that perfect image they've had for so long,
Oh yeah.
the contrast is pretty stark. I mean, for ages, it's been
Yeah.
a couple goals, right? Paparazzi snaps everywhere, coordinated outfits on red carpets, those dreamy vacations.
That was the story, carefully managed.
Definitely. That perfect fairy tale was the constant message. But this piece we're looking at, it shows how recently that polished surface has started to show some, well, very public fissures.
Like Justin's social media, that's a big one the source points out. He's noticeably not posting about Hailey much. Instead, it's like old photos, solo pictures, and weirdly some nostalgia stuff. Even back to the Selena Gomez days.
Which, for longtime fans, that kind of silence speaks volumes, doesn't it? Or, selective posting.
It really does. And then there's Hailey's quietness, which the source suggests is almost louder in its own way.
Yeah, she's been dropping these little hints, these sort of coded clues in interviews on her own posts. Words like ignored, drained, and that original overlooked.
But it's how she's doing it too, right? The source mentions this careful, cautious way she's saying things.
Exactly, like she's walking this tightrope between keeping things private, but also maybe asking for help, or at least understanding. It's not direct, it's like breadcrumbs.
Yeah, it feels like the subtle signals. So, okay, these cracks are showing. What are the main theories popping up then? What's the source suggesting might be the real story here?
Well, the first wave of theories came pretty fast. One big idea is just that Justin's, grown emotionally distant.
Okay.
Another major one is speculation that maybe there's someone else involved. An emotional connection, possibly something more.
Right, but the source is clear on this part, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
It's meticulous about saying no names are mentioned, there's no hard evidence, zero proof. But the whispers are there, and coupled with their recent behavior, it gives those theories some weight, at least in the public eye.
And it's not just online stuff either. The analysis points to more tangible signs. The source talks about Justin reportedly spending crazy long hours locked away at the studio.
Yeah. And what's really fascinating is what fans are saying about leaked bits of new music. They're describing the lyrics as incredibly raw, really personal.
Raw how? What are they saying?
Well, lines about feeling lost, feeling caged,
Yeah.
missing something that used to feel whole. The key thing the source emphasizes is that it doesn't sound like old history. It sounds like current pain.
Wow. So processing it through his music, basically.
Seems like it. Which, when you're that famous, your art becomes another form of public statement, intended or not.
And Hailey, what about her nonverbal cues? The source mentioned those too.
Oh yeah, definitely. The piece points out her wedding ring seems to be missing in some recent photos. Observers are saying her smiles don't quite, reach her eyes.
That classic sign.
Right. And her captions online. They've lost that usual sparkle. Instead of the sweet stuff about Justin, it's more vague phrases, spiritual quotes, sometimes just a single word that feels, more like a cry for help than an update.
It's a huge shift from her usual online persona.
Massive. So you see all this, and you might think, okay, maybe they're actually separating, but then the source throws in another angle.
Ah, the plot thickens.
Right. As often happens with celebrities, there's this wilder theory. What if this whole drama wave is actually manufactured, orchestrated?
You mean like a PR strategy to build hype for something?
Exactly. The piece suggests maybe it's leading up to something big. A tell-all interview, a Netflix docuseries deal, maybe even some kind of shocking joint statement to reset the narrative.
Oh, okay. That's cynical, but not impossible in that world, I guess.
Not at all. We've seen similar tactics before, right? Use the drama to pivot, to generate massive buzz. The idea is that the unraveling itself might be the performance, turning private pain or perceived pain into public interest.
It really makes you question everything you see, doesn't it? How much is real versus just carefully produced?
Absolutely. And what this whole deep dive into the Biebers really shows us, I think, is how much we, as the audience, try to find meaning in the gaps, in the silence, the small clues, the things left unsaid.
Especially now, when everyone's life seems to be online.
Exactly. This isn't just about them. It's like a case study in how fragile that curated authenticity can be. How much of the fairy tale is real and how much is just for show. And once you see the cracks, well, the whole illusion can shatter.
So we end up back where we started, kind of, with these big unanswered questions. That first left-out comment from Hailey, was that a real slip, a genuine moment?
Or was it, like that other theory suggests, a deliberate signal? The first move in a bigger game.
And the main question, is this famous love story actually fading away? Or maybe, has it already ended quietly behind closed doors, just waiting for the right moment for the big reveal?
Right now, the source material concludes there really aren't any solid answers. Just silence, this sort of echoing quiet.
And sometimes that silence says more than words ever could.
It really does.
Makes you think, doesn't it? As you go about your own life, how often do you see that? Where the silence, the subtle stuff tells the real story? What unspoken messages might you be missing right there in plain sight?